Hey everybody, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the rise of the microbrands.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
All right, so for today's show, I'm going to be talking with Vince Montero over at Helium 10. He's a project manager over there, and it's a hot topic, PCP or PCP. It's PPC. My head's all over the map right now. It's too close to the holiday season and sale, so I'm just going a little bit crazy right now. So you know what? If I blow it, I blow it during this call. But anyways, yeah, you can laugh at me. You can put it in the comments section. You know, I'm out of space right now. But anyways, Vince is going to be joining me today, and we're going to be talking about a hot topic, and that's your holiday PPC tips, a few strategies, and Vince's number one recommendation for any holiday season. So anyways, Kelsey, join me.
Hello, don't worry. We'll get through it together.
Will we?
Yeah.
I can count on you, buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
That's what I'm here for.
I know it.
Okay, it looks like we have Marcia joining us from sunny Arizona. We actually are here in Canada, and we just got a bunch of snow. So, yeah.
I was just telling Kelsey just before the call, I'm in this little room and I'm freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is too.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, so if you're new to the show, please go ahead and like and share this video. It does a whole lot of good for us, gets eyes on the show. But also, we want to know how you guys are doing. It's December, we're going into the holiday season. How are your sales doing? What's going on with you? What's new and exciting? Put that in the comment section, or just let us know where you're watching from, because our group is growing every day, so it's great to see. We have Rad joining us.
Hey, Rad.
Welcome.
Usman as well. Oh, he was the big winner. Last podcast.
All right. Oh, let's see who else we got Mark joining us.
How do you know this? All I see is Facebook user.
Yeah, I got magic powers. I have my phone next to me that shows.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is Marina. Say hi to Wendy. She's listening with me on speaker in her warehouse.
Wendy.
Hello. Hi, Wendy. How's it going? And we got... Okay, and Marcia, don't forget the invite to come visit. We can host a show from Sunshine. Ooh, very nice.
That would be so nice.
All right, but yes, getting back to it. So if you're interested in joining our group, you can go search Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and eCommerce Collective. If you miss an episode, if you catch this right at the end, you can always find all the episodes on YouTube. They're full episodes. We also put out a new short episode every time. Yes.
You're taking my line.
Oh.
Am I not?
Is this social media?
Huh? It's social media, but I have one little line here, and you steal it from me. Now I'm gonna have to make something up.
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we got Nathan and Milos. Hi, welcome to the show. Hope you guys enjoy. But let's just jump into it.
Well, hold it. Now I got to say my line.
Okay.
So,
floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, sir. So look, if you're listening to this on a replay, just skip by everything, and you can just skip this part where Kelsey's being annoying. Oh, very good. And also, if you're on my Facebook profile page, you can always skip over to Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy, on my fan page, where you'll get all the full episodes, some really great content, and a bunch of video clips. So if anybody has any questions, just put them over into the right-hand column, and we will answer them. Now, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, enjoy the show. See you later, Kels, and welcome, Vince.
Hey, Norm. How you doing?
Hey, Vince. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm not as cold as you.
Oh,
I need to send you some Helium 10 swag.
Yeah.
We've got new logo. We've got classic. So I'll send you some. And they're super comfy too. So.
Oh, man. I woke up this morning to snow. So beautiful Toronto, snow.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were in Canada. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to visit.
That's why I have the beard. I'm close to the North Pole.
Keeps you warm.
Yeah.
Keeps your neck warm.
You know what? This is going to be a great topic. It's perfect timing for the holiday season. We're in the holiday season, but not only this season, but other seasons, and maybe like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, other holidays as well. So this will be perfect for people to look back and re-listen to this. So Vince, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what you do over at Helium 10?
Sure. I'm the product manager at Helium 10 for ads, which is our PPC management tool that I've been working on for just over a year. And my background is as a consultant. Actually, I was a consultant for 2.5 years before joining Helium 10, but specifically doing Amazon. Prior to that, I was still a consultant, but I was just doing digital marketing in general, which is my background. I've got 15 years just doing digital advertising, everything from banner display ads to when mobile ads, were brand new. So was consulting and picked up a client that was doing Amazon advertising and couldn't really figure it out. And he just brought it to me. He said, "Hey Vince, can you figure this out? Because I can't do it." Luckily, I had worked on so many e-com ad tech platforms before that I picked it up pretty quickly. And within 2 years, it became my bread and butter. Like I just had Amazon clients within a short period of time. So, and then Helium 10 reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're looking to build out a tool specific to PPC." They had not done that yet, and they wanted to. They'd started the process, but they didn't have anyone that was really familiar with PPC at that time. And yeah, so I came on board, and I've been guiding that ship ever since.
Oh, nice. Before we get into any questions, I just wanted to say hi to a bunch of people. I see a few new people. I see a bunch of people from the community, but
so somebody in your community is also in my community, because they said, "Great to see have two Tacos Tuesdays in one week." So yeah, but every Tuesday at 10 I do Tacos Tuesday.
Right.
So it's my Ask Me Anything. It's my PPC live session. So one of your viewers is getting me twice this week.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I believe.
And hopefully, what's that, Kels?
I believe that's Mark Conch. He's in our Facebook group. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Which I've now joined your Facebook group too, so I'll be able to chat with your.
And that's also awesome. That's one of the things about this podcast is a lot of our guests join the group, and it just helps out so much when you've got these top experts that are in the group, and you're able to ask questions and get real answers. I've gone into so many groups, and I see these people answering these questions, and they're just wrong information, and you feel bad. Like, you don't want to go in and say, "Hey, look, you're giving people wrong or steering them in the wrong direction."
Right.
But, it's the quality of the group, and we do have really incredible people. So other than that, I just wanted to say hi to Milos and Bia and Darwin, Simon. Hey, Simon. And there is a few other people.
I believe this is from Gaurav. Gaurav is a new Facebook member. I don't believe he's commented before. So welcome, Gaurav. First comment. Love it.
And Erna, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Erica?
Yes. Before we get started, there were a couple of new users or new people, new sellers, and they don't know what Helium 10 is. So if we can just quickly jump into that before
Sure.
we get started.
So Helium 10 we are best known for keyword research tools. So actually, it's a good point. So the reason I came on board for Helium 10 is because I had been using their tools already. I was using our keyword research tool. We actually have two. One's called Magnet, the other one's called Cerebro, and Cerebro uses more ASINs or products that you can enter to do some research. There's Black Box, there's Frankenstein, there's Scribbles. It's basically a suite of tools that help you from everything from keyword research, product research, competitor research. It helps you finalize your listings, how to create your titles and bullets and so on. So there's a whole suite of tools. It actually started out with Scribbles is the name of the tool that Helium 10 started at, which was just to help with your product listing. But it's expanded, and now we've got 20 plus tools. We've got a new inventory management tool. We've got market competitor research tools, keyword manager tools, and of course my PPC tool. So if any of your users go to helium10.com, they'll see a whole suite of tools. But my specialty, again, is the PPC focus. But I was lucky enough, again, to have the experience with those tools that I knew immediately what I wanted to do when I came in, and how to leverage those tools with PPC, which is what I'll speak about today.
I think it's important that we talk about keyword research. So that's part of this topic. Helium 10 is definitely something that I use. I don't have any relationship with Helium 10, and as anybody who listened to this podcast before, I don't take affiliates. So on the podcast, this is strictly content. I love working with Helium 10. I'm sure that we have a bonus or a link that we can provide any new users that want to check it out. I forget what it is, and Kels, maybe after the podcast we can talk to Vince about that. But I know that we have some bonus. I don't know if it's 50% off the first month or something. Again, no, I will not accept affiliate commission. So anything that you hear is we give you the best discount possible, and it's up to you to make your own choice. But Helium is one of the things that I use. You can check it out. It's also got some really great content in it as well. If you get to the different levels, you'll see. And it'll also, when you go into the app, you're going to be able to see an area where you can learn. So they put together some really good training in there for each module. But let's get into today's subject, shall we?
Yes.
And that is holiday selling. So
PPC, which stands for pay-per-click. So a user
pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click.
Yeah. So these are those ads for anybody that's new. You're selling on Amazon and you want to get some extra traffic. You can turn on sponsored ads or sponsored brands. Why don't we talk about it? So let's talk a little bit about that, and then the holidays.
Yeah. So when you're on Amazon and you do a search, typically what you're going to see is an ad right at the top. It's typically the 3 different products. That's called a sponsored brand. Someone's paid. Whatever that brand is that is in there, they've paid to be in that spot. It's prime position right under the search bar. And then you've got your search results, right? And typically your top 4 search results are, again, going to be a sponsored ad. They're going to be paid advertising. So if you're a new seller, it's one of the easiest ways or best ways to actually get your product viewed and seen is by getting those placements. And so that's the holy grail, is getting those top 4 placements. But there's other placements on the page as well. There's other types of ad units that Amazon has. And it's called PPC, or pay-per-click, because you as a seller only pay if somebody clicks on the ad. So if you're bidding on particular keywords and your ad shows up, that's just an impression. You're not going to get charged if somebody just sees your ad on the page. You only get charged if the person clicks on it. That's why it's called pay-per-click.
Right. Okay, so there are a lot of different, there's beginners, intermediate, and advanced sellers on here. Why don't we just, because I know a lot of people are looking at the holiday season, they probably got holiday questions. Let's talk about your strategies going into the holidays.
Sure. Yeah, one of the things that we suggest, and I actually had a webinar with Amazon advertising itself a few weeks ago, actually probably about a month ago at this point. And so what we did was we just went through it, some different tips and topics. One of the things that I do recommend, now this only works if you're brand registered, but if you are brand registered, you get what's called brand analytics. And that's kind of an advanced research tool or a keyword search tool. And what's really cool about brand analytics is that you can look at last year and see what users were actually or what shoppers were typing. So you could go to last year, maybe put your product type in there and just see if there's any kind of Christmas related keywords in there. And that is something that we suggest trying, at least testing out. If you see your product with a kind of maybe a gift or Christmas, let's say it's a candle, maybe you can see Christmas candle. If there's ways that you can make your product a little bit more relevant to people, what they're searching for right now, then that's one of the things that we suggest that you do. Now, a lot of new sellers, of course, don't have access to brand analytics. Again, it's only if you're brand registered that you do get access to that. But even if you don't have brand analytics, you can still test things out. And right now is a really good time to do it. It's only the 9th. You've got a lot of people that are still searching for ideas and Christmas gifts and things like that. So, if your product is relevant, if you think your product might be good as a gift, for example, this is a good thing to test out. And all you got to do is just figure out, okay, again, if you're selling candles, maybe you just change the title of your product listing to winter candles or seasonal candle or holiday candle. Again, sticking with that candle product. But if you can update your listing, then again, you might get picked up for those types of keywords. And if, again, users are browsing, a lot of shoppers right now are using Amazon for discovery, which a couple years ago they weren't. Like Google was your discovery engine. Amazon is where you went when you knew what you wanted. People are now just skipping Google and just going straight to Amazon now. So when they're searching for ideas, Christmas gift ideas, if you can take some of those words and put them into your listing, your title, maybe your bullets, we definitely see that that's one way to take advantage of this increased holiday traffic that we're seeing right now.
And you're getting most of that information out of brand analytics, or are you just going after seasonal words?
Yeah. So looking at brand analytics again and looking at your product for last year, you can see what types of searches that shoppers are doing, which is pretty cool. It's not limited to just your product either. It's like if you do it right now, actually for brand analytics for last year, December of 2019, you would see most shoppers were searching for like AirPods and electronics. It was like electronic keywords. And then you see some Christmas keywords, like Christmas gift ideas and things like that is what you see for last year. Who knows what it's going to be for this year, given that it's a completely different shopping environment. But, looking at that kind of information last year gives you an idea of what people were searching for. And again, all you do is type in whatever your product is, you type that in, and then you can see what type of words that include your product in it were being used last year. But again, even if you don't have access to brand analytics, it's still worth, figuring out or deciding, hey, my product might be a good gift, right? So think about some keywords that shoppers might be looking for that might include your gift in it, and then include those in your listings. If you're running sponsored brands and sponsored display, which again is only available for brand registered users, you can even update your title of your ad copy as well to include some of those keywords. So those are just some ideas that we do have. Now, for PPC specific, Cam, so not just talking about your listings and maybe your ad copy, what we also suggest you do, or maybe test, and again, right now is a good time to do that because it's the 9th, figure out, some Christmas related type keywords and set up a seasonal campaign. You can set one up that starts tomorrow and ends after Christmas. And we suggest that because you don't want to just throw seasonal type keywords if you're running PPC. You don't want to just throw those keywords into your existing campaigns, your evergreen campaigns, right? Your ongoing campaigns, because it might skew the results. So if you want to test this same kind of concept with PPC by actually bidding on those types of keywords, then which is a great thing to do, we suggest that you actually just put those in their own campaigns. Mm-hmm. And then again, make sure that you use that the end date. Amazon does have the capability to include end dates in your campaign. So if you do that, if you run a seasonal campaign, put an end date, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about shutting it off after Christmas. You can focus on being with your friends and family safely, of course, and let your PPC campaigns turn off. But conceptually, this also works for any sellers, and actually any tips that we're talking about today are really good for if you've got products that are fitness related or health related. We're going to see, just like we do every January, right? We're going to see that big bump in people with their New Year's resolutions, right? So same concept. You might have keywords that you think about that might be related to New Year's resolutions, like people trying to, rededicate themselves to their fitness, which is something I'm definitely going to do as well in January. But if you do that, you can set end dates and say, end of January, that type of campaign, this type of keyword probably won't work anymore, but it might work at the beginning of January. So end dates for campaigns are definitely something that we recommend if you're doing this type of strategy, which is targeting specific holiday or seasonal related keywords with PPC.
So one of the things I always like to do is, and this is more for the new seller, well, maybe some sellers don't know this, but Amazon gift cards usually run the cycle up until the mid-January anyways. We still see a pretty good flow of sales coming after Christmas. Most new sellers would think, oh, it's done.
Right.
You don't see that. It continues on until usually mid-January.
Mid-January.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. And the other thing with your PPC, so you're talking about optimizing your titles and your listing. Another thing that we do is we optimize the images in our enhanced brand content or A+ pages, or even in your slide deck to show the product in a stocking or, some sort of under the tree or something like that.
Yeah.
People think of it as a gift. And if you're targeting that as
Same
a
idea.
keyword, same idea. And also if you're doing sponsored brands, well, you can make it more of a, especially that first image, you can make it a holiday image and you're completely within TOS.
Yeah, and the title, because sponsored brands, of course, you can control the headline, right? So you can put in, I don't know, gift holiday gift for mom,
Right?
Best gift for dad. Well, stay away from best, but you can tweak your ad copy, and then that will then go along with these images that you've added that have some holiday kind of focus in them. And again, it's really great because Amazon's shoppers are definitely in the Amazon ecosystem getting ideas. So leverage that. You have the ability to just use those keywords, update your copy, update your images, like you said. So that's another great idea.
I just got to give a shout out to my old artillery buddy, Mr. Apperly, line bubble line, my friend. So let's see, any questions that have come up?
Yeah, we got a couple questions. So first off, we have a question about Europe. Hey Vince, when are you going to let us have the PPC tool for Europe? This is from Simon.
It is available for Europe.
There you go, Simon.
Oh,
We
there
read
you
your
go.
mind.
So there's Helium 10 tools that might not work for certain European countries, but the ads tool pretty much, as long as you have access to that European account through the login that you use for Helium 10, we can still see that data, and we pull that data from Amazon. So you shouldn't have a problem with that. But if you do, that's definitely something that you want to bring up with our support team to help take care of that. But it is available.
You started to say stay away from a word. You said best. Are there words to stay away from in PPC?
Yeah. Amazon doesn't like it when you try to say, I mean, obviously you can't say sale, right? There's things
Right.
number one, best, things like that.
100%.
100%. Yeah, whatever. Anything that sounds too salesy, Amazon will, sometimes you get, they get through, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes the moderators see that and go, oh no, that's too close to being sales pitchy. And so they'll reject the ad copy. And then you just have to, tweak it again to make it go through. So and just in general, that's something I suggest that you don't get pinged or dinged, I should say, by Amazon.
Yeah, and I just have another comment about keywords and in general. For me, I don't know if we it's the same terminology, but for us, I call them buying keywords versus browsing keywords. And I use the example of a dog treat. Let's take a bully stick. So you can go in and search Helium 10 and you get your, like in Cbro. So if you're new, you can check it out and you can type in different ASINs or your products. into a search area. You can search the competition and it'll bring up their keywords. So what this allows you to do is check out search volume on keywords and the competition. So let's say that you're going down and you're selling dog treats, okay, or bully sticks. All of a sudden you see dog treats or pet treats. Well, that's so general. And if you're going to go in and put this on PPC and create a campaign, you will blow a ton of money on it. First of all, it'll be expensive. And then second of all, it'll be useless. And then you see, oh, okay, let's get a little bit more specific. Dog treat instead of pet treat. Same thing, still very broad. Tons of search volume, very broad. Dog chew, same thing. Those are all browsing keywords. Now you go down to a more of a buying keyword, bully stick. This pet owner, sorry if I just whacked the mic, but this pet owner knows that they want a specific product, a bully stick. But it has still 200,000 search volume per month. You're going to still, even though it's a buying keyword, you're going to get killed. So now what I call primary long tails, I'll go down and I'll try to see what has higher search volume, but is a little bit longer primary keyword. And that might be organic bully stick, natural bully stick, odorless bully stick, grass-fed bully stick.
Bully stick for big dog.
Yeah. And then we take that. This is where I love working with this tool. You could do it with other keyword research tools too. You take those two keywords, and usually there's an advanced search. You put the two keywords there and you search that whole list, and you're going to come up with a list of 6-inch organic bully sticks, 12-inch organic, natural grass-fed organic bully sticks, organic bully sticks made in the USA. And you take those keywords, and those are your gold. So you create a silo for each one of those, and now you can start targeting those keywords. And it's not the keywords that everybody are kind of targeting. So anyways, that's one way of targeting keywords and that's not the only way, but that's one way that we try to, when we're training people, it's understand buying, understand, what's the buying and browsing.
That's a great. So I call those keywords that are very broad but high search volume. I call those loss leaders. So they are your product, but very high search volume and very broad. So if you have budget, you should try to include some of those types of keywords into your PPC, because obviously it has really high search volume. It might not convert very well, but you're branding yourself every single time. Potentially someone puts in that very broad keyword of bully stick, which has a lot of searches. If you pop up impression wise, at least if you're visible and every time someone searches that, eventually your product might stick in the shopper's mind, and they might come back and put in your brand specifically. So one of the things that I do train as well is to figure out what your loss leaders are. What are the keywords that you can afford to just be? What are your branding keywords? Like, you might not make any sales on them, but they're definitely going to help you for your visibility, your exposure, and all of that is good for your branding of your product, which eventually then helps with future sales and organic sales.
Right. Great. Okay. It looks like there's a bunch of questions, right, Kels?
Okay.
There's a bunch of questions. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. So
far,
let's take
I've shared two.
Let's take a couple of questions, and then we'll get back to the more tips.
Sure. Okay. All right. So let's do Smins. What do you think about the option that we can display our ad on their videos, like Amazon Prime videos?
I think you should do it. What do you think when you see a video? You click on it. It's more engaging, and depending on how you do it, it definitely makes you stand out from the competition. So if you're brand registered and you have access to sponsored brand ads, which is the only ad unit that you can actually use for video, definitely make a video. I've seen videos that have good click-through rates that are they're not the best videos. They happen to have a video and your competitors don't. So yeah, if you have the time to make videos right now, now's the time definitely to get them out there.
Okay, I'll just do two more for now. Darwin, I use PPC to rank to the top of page 1, usually 30% Acos.
That's awesome.
In your experience, how long after hitting top 5 can I turn down my spend, and by how much do I drop my spend?
If you're if you're top of page one and you're 30% ACOS, Dylan, I would stay there. Whatever you're doing, you're doing good. I would ask, what's your tacos? What's your total ACOS? I would say, which is basically take your PPC spend and what's your total sales. If that number, which obviously it'll be lower than your 30% ACOS, keep doing what you're doing. And the reason I say that is because what you always want to do is be in the consideration cycle of the shopper, right? There's always new shoppers coming on, and they're always, some are browsing, some are just getting ideas. So if you're top of the page and you're staying at a general low ACOS and even lower tacos, you want to stay there, and that will continue to help with your PPC sales, and it will continue to help your organic sales.
Okay, great. And our last question for now from Rad. Hello, Vince. Helium 10 is the best. On your Taco Tuesday, is it possible that you can use some graphs to show the differences in PPC?
The graph, sure, yeah. I've actually started to do little demos now in my PPC Taco Tuesdays. I think last week I actually went into brand analytics and showed people how to do what I just suggested for brand analytics. So yeah, I'm happy to do that. I think it's a good idea just in general. There's 3 different ad types for PPC. There's sponsored products, which is what you get if you're a new seller. You just focus on sponsored products. If you're brand registered, then it's sponsored brands and sponsored display. And yeah, I'd be happy to explain what those differences are at the next one.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's it for now. We'll get back to more questions afterwards, but yeah.
All right, more tips from Vince.
Awesome. So another thing that we like to tell, especially for newer sellers, is that if you have campaigns that are already running, which is great, we want you to manage your expectations by kind of preparing yourself for this holiday traffic. You should already be seeing the increase since Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but then it tapers down a little bit and then it picks back up like this week. So what we suggest is that you make sure that you're managing your budget so that you don't get your campaigns don't shut off during potentially prime time. So one of the ways that you can do that, obviously, if you've been selling your product, if you sold the same product last year, look at what happened last year. You might, if you have that data on hand, you might be able to project what to expect this month. So depending on when you started with Helium 10, we also have that data in ads. We actually save up to 2 years worth of data in PPC. But take a look at what happened last year, and Amazon says to expect at least 2 times the number of clicks because of the increased traffic that we have right now, increased shoppers, new people to e-commerce because of the pandemic. Amazon's projecting that they're going to see double the amount of clicks. Same thing, same period as last year to this year. So if you have that data last year, take a look at it and make sure you look at your budgets and say, can I afford twice the amount of clicks this month versus last month? And then make sure that you adjust your budgets. Even if you don't have data from last year, just look at your data from the past couple of months, maybe October, maybe early November. Take a look at what your clicks were, what your spend was, and again, anticipate maybe 2 times the clicks from those months, because we're going to see, and we're already seeing, a lot more shoppers in Amazon. So you want to adjust your budgets to compensate for that. And again, you want to do that because the worst thing you can do is have a campaign that's been running successfully, but all of a sudden you got this increase in traffic and your campaign shuts off because your budget was too low. We see it happen all the time. And what happens when your campaign shuts off is that your competitors get that slot, right? For whatever keywords you're bidding upon, they're going to get that slot. So compensating for the increased amount of clicks in your budget is definitely an important thing that we suggest that users do. And along that same kind of vein, you want to adjust your ACOS targets. So if your goal is to remain profitable with your PPC during this holiday season, that means you really need to know what your break-even ACOS is. And your break-even ACOS is whatever that point is where you'll start to lose money from advertising after your product sales. So that's taking into account maybe your cost of goods, maybe your FBA fees. But whatever that break-even ACOS is, I would suggest making that your actual goal for this month of this increased traffic, because it really shouldn't be about making money off of your PPC this month. It should be about how much exposure can I get from all these new shoppers that are coming online, that they might not buy immediately, but they might buy next week. They might, depending on your product, they might buy next month. So that's my suggestion. If you really want to take advantage of this increased traffic, is to be a little bit more aggressive in your approach. Obviously, the higher your ACOS target is, then the more you're able to stay on, the more search terms you're able to look at, and the more clicks you're able to afford. So if you aim too low during this holiday month, then you might over optimize. You might turn off keywords that maybe spent a little bit too much right before a potential sale, or search terms. You might make them negative too early if your ACOS target is too low this month. So again, it's all about managing expectations. So take a look at the data, make sure that your budget is healthy enough to account for those increased impressions and clicks and traffic, and then make sure your expectations with your ACOS are going to be in line with what this month is going to shape out. And if you do get afraid of ACOS being too high, again, I'll circle back to our tacos, which is what we talk about every Tuesday, Tacos Tuesday. Look at your tacos. As long as your tacos is below at 20% or below, then you're actually doing pretty good. 10% is a goal for tacos, but take into account your total sales line when you're looking at your PPC costs. Don't just look at your PPC sales. Take into account that total sales line, and that will make it a little bit more bearable to have an aggressive ACOS this month. And at the end of the day, when you're selling on Amazon, the goal isn't just PPC. Your goal is total sales. What are your total sales? Your organic plus your PPC. So that's why we talk about it as much as we do, is because we know that is the goal, right? The holy grail of selling on Amazon is actually organic traffic or organic sales. But we also do know that PPC helps with organic sales. The more visibility and exposure you have, just like a billboard on the side of the road, the more times you see it, you may not need whatever that product is the first few times that you see it, but down the line, you might need that product, and you're going to remember that brand name because you've seen it so many times. That's what advertising is for. It's the same on Amazon. So that's why we promote taking into account your total sales.
So Erica's got a question. So can you explain what ACOS is?
Advertising cost of sales. It's similar to ROAS, but it's basically how much you spend on in PPC before you get a sale, right? So if your product is $50 and you spent $50 on PPC to get that sale, that's 100% ACOS, because 100% of the spend is what you actually made in profit. So it's just a calculation between the amount of spend that you have divided by it's your spend divided by your sales, effectively. Yeah. And tacos is taking it a step further. It's looking at your PPC spend, but it's dividing it by your total sales. So not just your PPC sales, taking your PPC spend divide by total sales, and that's your tacos, your total ACOS.
And Kelsey, can we just put some examples in the talking points of ACOS? We'll put the formula in there just for anybody who's not quite sure of the two.
I actually have slides. I think I mentioned to you guys, and I do have one of my slides has a deeper explanation of ACOS.
There we go.
Tacos.
Perfect.
So there we go. Kels, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll tweak these. I'll create a deck specifically for this conversation, and we can put it in the Facebook group and let your viewers take a look at the information.
Awesome.
So that's great. Before we get into anything else, I wanted to talk about the ACOS for a second. I hear there's so many people that talk about, the lowest ACOS. I had somebody say, we're at 9% ACOS. I'm sitting there in my head thinking, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And it's funny because I'll talk to some of our clients and I'll say they're even running at 20% or maybe even a little higher or a little lower. And the way that we'll run it, and this comes back to your explanation of tacos, is that we'll run campaigns or go into different keyword silos, and it takes a bit of time to get the results. So you'll see, maybe you're running at 20 or 25%. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you're at 40 or 50%, but it's over a time period just getting the results of this new silo. So you go really wide on your keywords, but your tacos is going down.
Mhm.
So if you're seeing your tacos go down, even though you're having a panic attack saying,
Mhm.
oh, I'm at 49 or 59, I've seen
Yeah.
70%,
Uh-huh.
your tacos is going down. And then, as you start to zone in on that silo, add
Mhm.
another silo and see how you can, work it. But
Mhm.
don't be afraid of, going above 20%. If you know the reason why you're doing it, you can
Mhm.
break the rule.
Yeah.
But for beginners, I wouldn't suggest that.
Sure. Yeah. For beginners, it's definitely important because you're watching your budget, obviously.
Yeah.
But for beginners, you should already have a high ACOS target, right? When you're a beginner and you're just launching PPC, I tell users your ACOS should be 100%. Your ACOS goal should be 100% for the first month. Why? Because when you're launching your campaigns, it's all about data collection. You want to cast a wide net, and you want to get all the search terms, and you want to be able to see everything, what's converting, what's not. You do your keyword research and stuff up front, of course, using Magnet, using Cerebro, but you still have to have a wide net for that first few weeks to a month. So shoot for 100% ACOS. You're not losing money, but you're not making money on your PPC either. But what you're doing is you're getting the data that you need to figure out, okay, this keyword works at this bid. This search term really works for me. I should try to target that keyword directly. Our ads tool does everything I just said for you automatically, but that is the most important part when you're launching, when you're brand new, is getting the data. So at the beginning, especially, you really can't be afraid of your ACOS. And then when you have the data, then that's when you whittle it down. That's when you can trim keywords or search terms, and it will lower that ACOS. And then at that point, you can start taking into account your tacos as well.
Okay. Before we go any further, I think we should talk about the giveaway today.
Oh,
So
sure.
we've got an incredible giveaway that Vince is going to give away his time. So it's a one-on-one consult, which I don't know about you, but you can't get a one-on-one consult with Vince. So if you want it, just type in, Kelsey, do we have?
So first of all, want to make sure, because we are getting double winners a lot. So this is strictly for people that haven't won before. I think.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, just to make it fair.
Usman.
All right. So,
All right.
yeah, do you have a?
You want to do just a quick hashtag? I want Vince.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so this is I want Vince.
Look at that.
I think Simon, have you won before? I'm not sure.
No,
But,
Simon just knew I was going to say that.
yeah. Well,
Tony, make sure you put in the hashtag. I want Vince. That's what it has to say.
Do you guys just look at all of them and then just like
Put
we
it
have
into
a-
the wheel of Kelsey.
you have
Yeah.
a will? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, a random.
All right, so we'll let that go on, guys. It's a really great giveaway. How much time do you have, Vince? I want to make sure we get through the tips.
Yeah, no, I've got a few more. So yeah, I've got a good 15, 20 minutes easily.
Okay, so let's go next. And you're seeing there's a couple of people that like this giveaway. So all right.
Good. Another tip then that I like to share. It's actually a tip and something that is worth noting. That dynamic bids. So dynamic bidding is something that Amazon has some presets for your PPC, and historically it was set to dynamic bid down only, meaning whatever bid that you put on a keyword, Amazon's going to bid it down to the point at which it's going to make a sale without actually going to the bid itself. So generally, that's why your CPCs are always a little bit lower than what you're bidding on for a keyword. Well, two things. Number one, that's no longer the default. The default when you make brand new campaigns, as of about maybe a month or 2 months ago, the default now is up and down. So that's one thing to note. If you're an experienced seller, you know what I'm talking about. And if you like that your dynamic bid down was set to down only, make sure when you're making new campaigns, go in there and put it back to down only if that's what you like. Up and down is something. Dynamic bid up and down means that Amazon will bid down or take your keyword bid and bid down on it for a sale if it's likely to happen, but it will also increase that bid up to 100%. if it's likely to increase conversion. So it'll double potentially whatever bid that you're using. So dynamic up and down is both directions. And again, that's now preset for new campaigns. So if you don't like that, I would suggest if you're making new campaigns, just check it and then switch it back over to dynamic down, which is what I prefer actually and what I recommend. But dynamic bid up and down is something that I do recommend for if you've got established campaigns. And by established, I mean you're making at least 50 sales a week on this particular product. That is a campaign then that it's more established, and it might actually benefit from doing dynamic up and down. So if you've done your homework, if you've done the job, everything we described earlier, which is launching your campaign, getting that chunk of data for that first month, having a high Acos so you can get the data, whittling it down, and then you're seeing a good amount of sales for your product on a weekly basis, that's when you might want to try dynamic bid up and down, because at that point you've got the formula down, you've got the right keywords, right bid. And so at that point, it's testing to see if up and down might actually get you increased sales. Amazon said that they're seeing users that do have, again, established campaigns, they're seeing a 52% lift in sales if they switch over to dynamic bid up and down. So that's a tip that I do want to share. 2 tips. Number 1, if it's a new campaign, go check and switch, flip it back down to dynamic bid down only. And then for established campaigns, if you're making good sales already, maybe try up and down and see if it actually helps increase your sales. And we're seeing that as well for campaigns that, again, are established. And especially during this holiday season, it's a great idea because you've got a lot of new people coming in. You got a lot more shoppers. If you have a branded keyword campaign, so meaning which is actually another tip, a campaign that just has your brand keywords in it, so whatever your product's called, maybe try your up and down dynamic bidding for that campaign, because other competitors might be trying to steal your buyers by using your brand as their keywords. So that's another area that you might want to try your dynamic bid up and down setting on Amazon.
Perfect. Nice. I love using the brand keywords. On one of my clients, I was kind of surprised. So it's brand name and then the kitchen utensil. And all of a sudden there's 1,500 searches on it.
Right.
They're searching for the brand. I mean, it's perfect, and it's dirt cheap.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. That's what sellers, especially new sellers, need to understand, is that PPC it's just advertising, right? So the more advertising you do, it's like a commercial. The more times you see it, even though we can typically skip commercials now, but the more times you see it, you get that brand recognition, and then the shopper might come in exactly how you said and just put in the brand name and whatever generic kitchen utensil it is. So that's why it's important, A, to always be in the consideration cycle by using PPC, but B, it's also important to have a campaign. I believe it's important to have a campaign with your branded keywords in it to capture those particular searches, so you can kind of see. Just in that type of campaign, you can really see, how well are my branding efforts doing right now? Like, how branded am I? And what you should see eventually, for a new seller, you should eventually start seeing your branded keyword campaign. You should start to see it go up in sales and conversions, while your PPC sales for your standard keywords might even go down a little bit. But you see that shift because you're doing it correctly. You're using the PPC to brand yourself in the name of the mind of the shopper, and then they're going in and they're putting that keyword with your brand in their search query, and they're finding you. And a lot of organic sales come from that too. So not just PPC, but a lot of organic sales will come that way. Yeah,
A lot of people don't realize they're afraid to spend money on PPC. But you could get a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1, organic sale ratio from your sponsored ads here's a general poll. Here's a bunch of people that go onto Amazon that are listening today. Do you go and click on the sponsored ad, or do you go and click on the organic? And I bet you this is a good poll. Like, let us know what you do. I don't click on the sponsored ads. I click on the organic listing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's probably psychological.
Yep.
You see it, you surround, and oh yeah, that I trust it as long as the listing's good.
Exactly. And to that point, when I see a product in both positions, like their sponsored tab, but then I actually see them in the first row of organic, then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's probably a product that I can believe in, because not only are they doing the job of doing being number one with their PPC, but obviously they're doing a good enough job that they're organically ranked high enough for whatever keyword I just put in. So I do the same thing, but only because I do this for a living. But most shoppers that are out there, this is actually a good poll. So I would actually love to see the results of this poll. If you really do this poll, I would think that most shoppers don't even know that the first top positions are sponsored, that are paid. I would bet.
Ernia, I hope I said your name right. An organic sale is just one that it's a natural sale. Like you'll see sponsored sales or advertised sales, and it'll say sponsored on it, or just below it. And then you'll see, for the most part, the second row is just what we call organic. It comes up naturally as a search ranking. So you'll see the sponsored ones going up across the right, across the bottom, squeezing a few in the middle now.
I like to tell new sellers, think of Google.
Yes.
Amazon's a search engine. That's all it is. When you're typing in search, so Google's a search engine. That's all you're doing. You're typing in keywords, right? So when you're on Google and you type a search term, you generally know the ads, because we've been doing Google enough that we can see, okay, that particular thing over here, that's an ad, like somebody paid to be placed. But if you go low enough in your search results on Google, you eventually start to see some titles or articles or whatever it is that don't have that little ad token on it, and that's organic.
Perfect. I'm glad we were able to answer that for you. Okay. And one other thing for people that probably, intermediate sellers, but there's probably some advanced sellers that don't realize this too. But dealing with my clients, a lot of them have not been involved with e-commerce before, and they're actually afraid to spend money. So I just recently had this happen. I had one that had a 5-to-1 ROAS. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Yeah,
So
it's not
that's basically, you'll get for every one sale you'll get 5 sales pretty much. I would be telling the person to be spending all day long. If it was $1,000 a day,
Yeah.
do 1,000. If it was $5,000 a day for a 5-to-1 return, and
Yep.
if you knew, like with that type of return, you should have, I'm just saying, normal profit margins, you would be making a killing.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so, and that's like, just so I don't cause any confusion, ROAS is just another way of talking about ad spend. So if we go Acos, if you had a low Acos of, let's say, 20%, I would just, I do have a client that spends about, what is it? $200,000 a month in ad spend. And, he'd spend $400,000 a month. He gets sales.
Yeah.
So many people are afraid to spend $100 a day or $50 a day, or they
Yeah.
think that because you're putting out $500 a day that they'll even get sales.
Right.
That doesn't just because you put $500 or $1,000 a day doesn't mean you're going to get. That's not going to be, unless you spend it foolishly. That you're not going to be taken up on $500 a day.
Yeah. It's the way I counter that is thinking, just letting especially new sellers know, PPC is your marketing budget. It's a line item in your Amazon business. It's a cost of doing business on Amazon. If you can look at it that way, then you realize, well, the more money I throw into that line item, potentially I'm going to get a higher return, right?
Right. Okay. Do you have another tip? I know that we're going to be
I
doing
do.
your number one recommendation at the end.
Well, actually, I was going to give my number one recommendation, but let's see. I could actually give another tip here.
Or we can
Um,
dive into questions.
we could dive into. Why don't I give my number one tip, and then we can
All
round it out
right.
with
So
some
drum
questions.
roll, Kelsey. And the number one tip. This is Vince's number one tip for the busy selling season.
Yes, and it actually applies to any selling, any season or any time, as you mentioned, but especially right now. Again, we have a lot of new shoppers that are on Amazon, that are on all e-commerce platforms because the pandemic has introduced them to the world of e-commerce. So to take advantage of these new shoppers on Amazon, I highly, 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 highly suggest, and you can do this if you're a new seller or a experienced seller, brand registered, not brand registered, please use coupons. Use Amazon coupons, even if you're just giving a 5% discount on your particular product. If you use Amazon coupons, it's going to drive more traffic to your listing because they draw the attention of the shopper to your product. That little green badge that you see when you're on Amazon, if the product next to it doesn't have it, which typically it won't because a lot of people still don't take advantage of coupons, you're gonna focus on that particular product tile versus the other ones. Those green little badges, they appear on the coupons page as well. And a lot of people don't know this. There is actually a coupon section in Amazon. So a lot of sellers know that that's there, and they just go to the coupon section in Amazon and look for products that are there. If you have a coupon on your product, you're going to be there. If you don't, then you're not. But it's also going to appear in search results and then on product listings as well. So even if you're a brand new seller, you can put a little bit of budget aside for coupons. They do cost 60 cents per click, but the exposure that you're going to get, the additional visibility and attention you're going to draw from those coupons is really invaluable. So that is definitely one thing. You could do it any time of the year, but I think right now, because of the increased traffic, I think that the sellers that take advantage of coupons are really going to see an increase in their CTR. Amazon actually says that they see a 40% click-through rate, increase in click-through rate versus product ads or tiles that don't have the coupon. And Amazon just recently included coupons, those badges, in sponsored display. So if you're running sponsored display product targeting ads, and if you have a coupon, you're actually visible just there. It's not just in sponsored products that you see the coupon, but it's also now in sponsored display. I'm sure Amazon's going to be releasing coupon little badges in different placements. So if you can get ahead of the game, then I would definitely recommend doing that. Now, what I would also recommend, it's just kind of as a pro tip with coupons, is that you schedule the coupon for a single product or a set of products during the most busiest time that you think your product's going to be. If your product's a fitness related product, like we were talking about for like New Year's resolutions, I definitely think increasing your budget. You can also set budgets for coupons. So it's at 60 cents a click, but you can say, Amazon, I only want to spend $100 on coupons. You can set that. It's not just going to run through that, but definitely do that and make sure that it's on your top selling products. If you have that data, make sure those little badges are there because you're gonna see a tremendous increase in CTR with those.
So I can handle Nir's question here. I was just going to mention this. So that's the big question. Do you put percentage or do you put dollars?
Sure.
So one of the things that I found out is if you have a lower priced product, like let's say you have a bar of soap at $10, it's better to put a discount on a low dollar product, like 5% or 10%, whatever it is. If you put it as a dollar, it's going to be insignificant, like
Right.
5% of $10. So I only use the percentage, and you might
Yep.
be different.
Nope.
I only use the percentage on small, low dollar items, and I
Mhm.
use the dollar figure when I'm giving away a bigger dollar, like a $2 or $3, $5 off of a higher ticket item. And what do
Exactly.
you do?
Same, exactly the same. So if your product's worth a bigger, if it's costs $20, $50 or more, then users can, shoppers can easily calculate, oh, okay, I'm getting a good deal on this, right? But if you've got a lower price point, then there's not really a point in adding $1 off because it doesn't look like much.
Right.
But if you just put percentage, a lot of people aren't going to do the math. They really aren't. If they see percentage, they're just not going to do the math. They just know that yours is going to be a slightly different. If they click on that coupon, they know that your product's going to be slightly less expensive than that product next to it that might be even the same exact price. And that's the selling point, is that they see that and it's a percentage off and they think they're getting a deal, and they are getting a deal. Mm-hmm. It's a small deal, but it's still a deal.
That's it. It's all psychological.
It really is. It really is.
All right, Kels. Now.
Okay, so before we get to the questions, I think we should say that we've got a lot of questions, so we can't get to all of them. But Vince does have an Ask Me Anything.
I do every Tuesday at 10. Every Tuesday at 10. I will have a link for that because I'm going to get my own StreamYard similar to what we have right here. So I'll post that in the Facebook group when I have that. We do post those in our social media channels. If you follow Helium 10, you'll see that. So next Tuesday at 10, it's the 15th, and then I'm off until the new year. So the next Tuesday will be the last for the year.
Okay, great. Just so anyone who we don't get to, we're sorry. There's only so much time that we can use.
But we will try to answer whatever we can in the group.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not sure how you're doing for time, Vince, but
I'm good.
Okay.
My next meeting's in an hour.
Oh. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. From Tony, I've not been able to edit the creative on some of my brand ads. Have you experienced this problem at all?
Yeah. So since Amazon's weird, like they'll release new features, such as editing your creative on your sponsored brand ads, but for some product types they won't do it. So what Amazon does is it releases those features in phases, and a part of those phases is by category type or product type. So what I would do, Tony, is open a ticket, open a case, and just say, hey, here's my brand. I can edit my creative on these ones. Why can't I do it on the other ones? If you're lucky, someone on Amazon's end might take it up for you and say, hey, this guy can already do it for these products. Let's open it up for his other ones. They might do that for you, but the reasoning is simply because Amazon rolls out new features in stages.
Okay, great. Let's see, from Marina. When I search my brand name, my competitors' ads are coming up first. Do they bid on my brand name?
Yes,
do they have listed in the keywords, or does Amazon like them more than me?
Amazon likes whoever's bidding upon the keywords and who's going to be bidding the highest on that keyword and potentially convert. So this is a primary example of why both Norm and I talked about branded keyword campaigns. Have a campaign that has all your branded keywords in it, all the different variations of it, different match types of it, your broad, your phrase, your exact, and make sure you stay on top of the bids for those campaigns. It's Amazon's very responsive. So if whatever search term that you or keyword that you put in, you can literally go into Seller Central and increase the bid, and then go back within a minute and do that search again. And if your competitor still comes up, you know that you haven't gone high enough yet. And you can literally just keep increasing the bid a little bit by little bit until you see yourself. I shouldn't say a minute. It might take 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but it's responsive. So you can eventually figure out how much that competitor is bidding on your keyword by increasing yours. Now, it might be that they're bidding really, really high, and that does happen. We have competitors out there that bid really, really high on your branded keywords, simply because they know that people are searching for your product and they want to take those sales. But that is definitely a scenario that I would say is worth throwing more budget at.
Okay, great. Let's see. This is a bit of a big one. So how do you create your PPC? If you have 3 to 4 root keywords with a lot of high relevant keywords, do you put them in one campaign and every root keyword has its own ad group, or do you create campaigns for each root keyword?
Yeah, so that would be something that would be answered in a one-on-one or in our Q&A session on Tuesday. That's very, very broad. But really quickly, I would say that it's good that you at least have your 3 or 4 root keywords. Helium 10, we recommend a 3 campaign structure for new products: an auto campaign, a broad keyword research campaign, and an exact match campaign. So it sounds like you've done your homework and you at least have your root keywords. You'd definitely be able to take advantage of our tool to launch these particular campaigns. But as far as how do you create them, there's actually 5 different campaign types that I actually recommend for launching your campaigns. But that again would take a while to get into.
Okay, great. Let's see. Yarrow, I don't know if this is too broad too, but how do you optimize campaigns weekly? What are your steps to go through once a week?
Sure. That's a really good question, because it actually talks about the cadence in which that you should optimize too. For new sellers, I do find that once a week is generally a good way of doing that. So what I do and how I used to do it when I was a consultant, and also how Ads does it as well, I would always look at the data from the week prior, right? So sponsored product ads, for you guys that don't know, they have a 7-day pixel, all right? So that means a seller can click on your ad on day 1, but they can come back 7 days later and then actually buy your product. And that sale is going to get attributed to day 1. It's going to get attributed 7 days prior, right? So when looking at your optimizations, and especially if you have a lot of volume, a lot of search volume, a lot of clicks, you definitely want to keep that at a minimum, that 7-day pixel in mind when you're looking at your data. So if you're doing it on a weekly basis, what I'm saying is look at the week prior. So I would do my optimizations days, but I would look at my client's data through the Saturday before, right? I wouldn't look at the current week. I would look at the week before, Sunday through Saturday, which was 7 days. 7 days had passed in between. And how you optimize is simply looking for wasteful search terms, looking through your reports and finding those search terms that are just spending and not converting for you, making them negative, looking for keywords that are spending, maybe that have high ACOS, that are just wasting or taking too much of your budget. But I would only focus on, I'm not a big fan of pausing keywords, especially if they're making sales. Unless they're exact. If you've got exact match keywords that are not making sales, or exact match keywords that are making very, very high ACOS sales that you can't absorb in looking at a blended ACOS, those are the only keywords I recommend that you pause. If you've got phrase or broad match keywords, you should really be looking at the search terms, because the search terms are actually what's spending on that keyword. So if you can trim, if it's a high ACOS broad keyword, for example, if you can look into your reports and trim the search terms that are spending, that are either wasteful, or the search terms that are the higher ACOS ones, make those negative and leave the search terms on that are converting well. Or even better, take those search terms out and make them manual keywords in your campaigns, either phrase or exact, because they're obviously converting for you. So it might be something that you want to target directly. And again, all these optimizations are something that our ads tool does for you, because I designed it to do that. But you can also do these things manually in our tool, as well as, of course, in Seller Central.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. From Herb, I seem to get better sales in the evening, so I cringe when I see lots of PPC spend during the day with no sales. I'm told some buyers might be clicking on my listing in the day, but going back to purchase at night. Mm-hmm. Should I be concerned if I run out of PPC budgets in the day, but see sales at night? My concern is I have had days of no sales and had Amazon collect my PPC money all day.
So I'll start with the reverse. Amazon is, yes, they are collecting your PPC money all day, but you're also getting branded all day, right? So people are seeing your brand all day. That's good. That's what you want, right? So especially if you're seeing your sales mostly come in the evenings, you definitely want to make sure you don't run out of budget, because Amazon starts at midnight and it runs through 11:59 the next day. So if you run out of budget at 6 a.m. and most of your sales come at night, then you're out all that sales. So you really want to, again, take into consideration doing some projections, looking at your clicks from last year or looking at your clicks from a couple months ago, seeing, hey, can I afford twice the many clicks, and adjust your budget so that you don't get shut off during that during the early part of the day, or maybe even right before the evening. You don't want that either. So you definitely want to make sure that your campaigns do stay on all day. And as far as the click fraud, Amazon is definitely, in my opinion, getting better at identifying that. And Amazon does look at clicks, and it does actually change. It takes out fraudulent clicks within the first 72 hours, typically. So, keep that window in mind too. I would never look at data within the first 72 hours, especially because sales attribution takes 24 hours. Click fraud takes 72 hours to identify. If click fraud is found, obviously that's going to get removed. That adjusts your spend. So there's not really anything that you can do about it, unfortunately. But Amazon is getting better, I think, at finding it and responding.
Okay, and we got just a couple more.
Okay.
All right. From Janet, do you always need to run PPC even if you're already on page one? When is the usual time you need to run it?
I think you always need to run PPC. Again, especially if you're already on page one. So if you're on page one for the particular keywords that you're targeting, then you're doing a good job. That's the holy grail of PPC, is to be on page one. So you definitely want to keep doing that. When's the usual time you need to run it? When you're just launching, of course, as we suggested, because nobody knows your brand. Amazon doesn't know your brand yet either. So you should use PPC to get your product out there and gain visibility. And when is the usual time that you need to run it? That probably plays into the previous person's question, saying that I get more sales in the evening, right? There's no day parting in Amazon, so you can't just turn your campaign or set your campaigns to be on or off during certain times of the day. I know there's a lot of users that would love it if we did have that capability. I highly doubt that Amazon will ever do that. So the short answer is always. You should definitely run it at launch, and you should pretty much always have your PPC on, because again, you're always trying to be seen, to be visible. Your PPC is your advertising. So there's new shoppers coming on every single day, every single minute. There's new shoppers. You want your brand to be visible, especially on page one, for those new shoppers. Those new shoppers might not buy your product right away, but they might buy it the next day. They might buy it a week later. They might buy it 2 weeks later. Sponsored brand ads and sponsored display ads have a 14-day pixel, because Amazon knows that for those types of ad units, shoppers take up to 14 days to make up their mind, right? So my shorter answer is that you always want to keep your PPC running, especially if you're on page one.
And we talked about just being psychological. If you're there and they can see it, 1, 2, then it's, oh yeah, that must be a great brand.
Right, exactly. If you're top ranked PPC and you're top ranked organically, I think that's a great position to be at. Now, some sellers that are trying to be more budget conscious, they might drop out of PPC for that top position if they're high organically, which is fine because you're still top of the page. But you really have to then keep track of that, because what if you drop organically? Then you're not in that top position anymore, and you're also not doing your PPC for that keyword.
Right.
So.
Okay, and last one we'll do, because I think we've gone above and beyond this episode. What are your thoughts about the fact that Amazon has started to give more influence to external traffic, and in 2021 it's going to be more of an organic ranking juice to the listing now?
It's not that they're giving more influence to external traffic. It's simply that they're making it easier for sellers to track it. People have been running external traffic, from Facebook or other streams to their product listings for a long time, but they've never actually been able to see the end result of that. So Amazon's just, mostly I think because of people complaining about it, Amazon's now making it through their API, attribution API, they're now making it visible for tool providers like us, or to sellers. You can log into their API tool or their attribution tool and see what marketing channels are working for you. Amazon wants, it behooves them to do this too, because if they can show you which types of ads or which channels are performing better for you on Amazon, that's better for them, because you're going to throw more money into that channel and then potentially make more sales on the back end on Amazon. So I definitely think that running external traffic is definitely going to be a continued trend. And now that the attribution API or attribution console is available, I think now is the time to start testing that, because you can actually really see the results of your external traffic to your Amazon sales.
So I've got a comment on PPC. This is just, again, psychological thing. I don't know if you've done this, but it's important that you get the frequently bought together section. So what I'll try to do is, let's say, I'll just use knives for example, but you've got a quality 8-inch knife, you've got a polishing stone, and you've got I don't know, a sheath. I'm just making something up.
Sure.
So you've got the 3 products bought together. That usually is about 30% extra sales. So a lot of times competitors will try to do that. Well, if you can get somebody to buy these products maybe once or twice, and you get them into the frequently bought together, you can increase your sales dramatically. Well, here's the psychological part. A lot of times when you're doing PPC, you're thinking about a product. Well, if you're doing a video, show the polishing stone, show the product going into the sheath, and target the one product at a time. But if you can do a sponsored brands, you can show them all together. So now you're seeing all the products together. You're seeing them in frequently bought together. You're seeing them in a video. Now it's just psychological. It's just another way to kind of put everything together.
And images too, because you can now add custom images to your sponsored brand ads and your sponsored display. So if you get some images and you sell, again, the same scenario, products that are similar to each other, try to get multiple of those products in the same image. And then again, it's all about visibility. It's about awareness. It's about brand recognition for your particular product. And if you do, that's a great position to be in. If you sell a knife, but you also sell products that are helpful to knives, it actually also then increases your brand ranking to the mind of the user. They're going to think, hey, this brand is a specialist in this product because look, they sell these ancillary products that also help or are included or for this particular product. So yeah, I definitely think that getting that frequently bought together is amazing if you can get it. And you can also use for your competitors. If you look at your competitors' listings, you can actually look at the frequently bought together, and those are other areas you can actually target as well. Those are listings that you can actually say, hey, I'm going to pull out those ASINs and I'm going to target those ASINs for my product targeting campaigns.
A dirty little trick is just to go and buy the competitions with your product, and now you're on their site. People are buying your product with their product through frequently bought together. You're getting a ton of extra exposure. So that's something you can do. That's a whole other topic. But
I didn't even thought about that one.
Yeah. But anyway, let's give one more quick. If you want the 1 hour consult with Vince, just type in I want Vince and we'll enter you. We'll wait about 30 seconds. I know we've got a ton of people that have already used the hashtag. But anyways, yeah, Vince, this is great. Tons of information for the holiday season.
Yes.
We've got to get you back on. I would love to have you back on to go through different types of reporting. Sure. And explain, what we were talking about a little bit earlier, and show people, what are the metrics that you use, and, just different important things to look for when you are putting together a report or looking at a report.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to come on. We could maybe even go over the different ad types real quickly, just show sellers what were the different versions that we're talking about, what you can get when you're brand registered. Happy to do that, Norm.
Okay, very good. So Kelsey, you just let me know when you're loaded up there. It's
Yeah,
going to be a big wheel of Kelsey today.
yeah. So I believe I got everyone. And Simon, I did enter you. Sorry, I thought you did enter you win before, but he hasn't. That was my bad. Okay, so let's start this. I just got to share my screen. Bear with me. All right, so these are all people that have not won before.
Oh, wow.
So here we go. So 3, 2, 1.
This will be a great giveaway. Ooh, Simon, you just missed. Kathleen.
Okay, Kathleen, I believe she was from LinkedIn.
All right. Well, that's our first LinkedIn winner, I believe.
There we go. Yeah. Congratulations, Kathleen.
All right. So, well, how does Kathleen get a hold of you to get the information? Is it Kelsey? You're going to?
Yes. So Kathleen, you can message me or Norm on his LinkedIn or email me, kate@lunchwithnorm.com, and I'll get you in touch. Do you have a link that I can share, Vince, or do you want to just CC?
Yeah, just copy me. Again, I will have a StreamYard link of my own soon. Actually, probably by the end of this week. I don't have it yet. I'm currently using Bradley's when I do my AMIs, so I will have that soon. But yeah, she can you can connect us and then we can schedule that.
Okay,
all right.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Okay. So I think that's it for today's program. It went long, but it was well worth it. Vince, thanks a lot for coming on and spending an hour and a half with us.
You're very welcome. It was great to speak with you and answer some of the questions from your viewers.
Fantastic. So thanks again, and we will have you back on, I hope, shortly.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. So that's the end of the podcast today. If you want to see the whole podcast, go to Farrar or Norm Farrar at AKA The Beard Guy, and you can see not only this, other content and tons of shorter clips as well. If you want to see our faces, maybe Kelsey's face, go to YouTube and check out Norm Farrar, and there's a ton of videos there. Kelsey's putting up new content every day. Also, we have a newsletter. It doesn't suck. It's a good newsletter with tons of content. What we're trying to do is build content and make online sellers better. Not just Amazon, online sellers. So check it out. You can go to lunchwithnorm.com or normfarrar.com and just subscribe. There's no advertising. You'll just see content. So this Friday, I am really excited. We are going to, Kelsey, you come on and you tell this. This is really cool.
So for those of you in our Facebook group, you'll probably have seen the name Brenda Mendez pop up throughout. She's been answering a ton of questions about packaging, design, building a brand. So she is coming on this Friday to talk about how she built a business or worked with a business. I believe they're Snow. It's like an oral hygiene product or company, and they've built from $0 to 9 figures.
Nine figures. And you know what? I love this brand. It's actually a brand that I like, one of the brands that I would talk about because it's so fantastic what they've done with this. So check it out before you come on to the podcast or watch it. Check out what the brand is all about. Check out their YouTube channel. Incredible. And it's done with just branding and what you can do with it. So anyways, I'm really excited to have her on and to talk to her. So please join us next. It's this Friday coming up.
And if I can
weeks flying by.
If I can just add, I did post, she posted a video of her Instagram of some of the packaging that she's done for her products. So I posted that again on the Facebook group, so you can see exactly what she did and what's like possible in your packaging and what you should be aiming for possibly if it's in your budget. But yeah, it's going to be a great episode. So super excited about that. And yeah, so like the video today if you haven't yet. And yeah, that's it for me.
We haven't smashed anything or rang a bell.
Smash that like button, ring the bell. You get
Yeah,
the drill.
very good. Okay. So please tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being part of community. Thanks for all this engagement. It's fantastic. We're really excited to see, how fast the community is growing. And, have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Entrepreneur.